Welcome in to the Red Clay, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. John here, you there. And obviously, we're, a little looser here in this format because we are kind of flexing things around a little bit. Here's the rundown as we have it. It is going to be a double check-in with Thomasville, and that's going to be close to the bottom of the hour because of lunches and planning periods and things like that. So the idea in a perfect world is to catch up with Lucas Kimmel and to catch up with Robert Peterson, the head coaches of Thomasville. That's going to be closer to the bottom of the hour as we break it all down for you. When it comes to their matchups, they are a very busy Thursday in Class A Division I. Girls side, Thomasville takes on Model. Boys side, Thomasville takes on Armuchee. Trying to track down Lauren Jones at Model, and at the same time, Jason Park from Armuchee is going to be joining us, and he will be on at 10:45 tomorrow. And so we were able to kind of pin down some of these folks when it comes to their match day schedules. And before we really start, I can't thank these all these coaches that we are able to catch up with enough because of their planning schedules, chasing championships, all the things to make sure that they're going to try and win the last game of the year. So we're going to catch up with Thomasville, and we'll get that all squared away at the bottom of the hour, get to revisit with them. It was great to catch up with them a couple of weeks ago. Or was it last week? It might have been last week. And so we'll find out the latest with Thomasville now that they've made it to the finals. We'll catch up with Coach Kimmel and then Coach Peterson. And then we'll wrap it up for the day and let you know what else we know. We're going to be taping some interviews this afternoon as coaches are heading into practices. And then it will be an opportunity for us to catch up with Kelly Bowler at Johns Creek and catch up with Ben Parker at Savannah Arts Academy before they head to practice. And so with the SAA, they are the late game tomorrow against Pierce County. And it is River Ridge and Johns Creek. They are the late game tomorrow in Duluth. So we'll catch up with Kelly Bowler and Benjamin Parker. We'll catch up with them, and we'll have those interviews for you tomorrow in Red Clay and or the morning show, depending on how things lay out tomorrow. If you missed the morning show, we got to catch up with Coach Hellier from Whitfield Academy as they get ready for their matchup tonight. Shannon Coley, the head coach at Coahulla Creek, as they get ready for their matchup against Pike. And then it was great to catch up with Glenn Archer from Wesleyan and find out about Mary Mac Brown, who has 63 goals as a sophomore in the private classification. So great to catch up with those coaches. And we're steadily marking off a lot of the coaches that are here that are chasing after titles. And so we also do have, finally, after yesterday, we do know what the final is going to be in the lone Class A classification, Class AD2. That is going to be on Friday with Luke Winstall and myself from Upson Lee. And we'll go through brackets and we'll let you know what timing is and everything like that. All right. So we're also in a bit of a holding pattern because there's a vicious rumor that Justin Brantley might be joining us from the road. So they are rumored to be stopping in Dublin, and we will find out if they stop in Dublin, that we can see what life is like in Dublin for them at lunch as they are making their way. They left a little after 9 o'clock this morning, and Justin joined us in the morning show to say they were at mile marker 95, and they are on that lone stretch of I-16. Lone stretch of I-16 where you were going, and it is nothing but trees, exits, and cops. So I don't think that bus could get a speeding ticket, but nevertheless, they left early this morning, and it was really cool what they were able to do, and they were working their way forward. And he came in on the morning show briefly before the trees got in the way. And just literally, it's like, hey, if you want to come and join us on the noon show, you can. And we will be more than happy to see where you are and how things are progressing as they make their way to the late game tonight in Duluth. So your broadcast schedule for today, NFHS Network. It is Oconee County and Jefferson at 5 o'clock. That one is in Duluth. Maddie and Jason on the call for that one. Heavyweight battle to start things off in Duluth. Watch it if you can. Holy Innocents, ranked number 4, taking on top-ranked Wesleyan on the girls' side. That one is at St. Pius at 5 o'clock. That is Nick and Justin Hanover. Your nightcaps and locations. Islands, as they make their way once again from the coast up to Duluth. They are ranked number 2. They're going to take on East Hall, who is ranked number 7. We're going to hear from Alec Zimmerman here in Red Clay. Caught up with him yesterday after practice. And so we'll catch up and find out what Alec has to say as they get ready in number 2 versus number 7 tonight, Islands and East Hall. Private side, your nightcap, once again at St. Pius, Whitfield Academy, and Hebron Christian. And we caught up with Chad Griffin yesterday. I caught up with Coach Hellier today in the morning show, and that's going to be your rundown there. Team 1, Whitfield Academy, and it is Team 3, Hebron Christian, in the power rankings. That one is 7:30-ish tonight. We'll say ish on the 7:30s with Islands and East Hall and Whitfield and Hebron Christian, with once again Nick and Justin Hanover doing the private matchups today at St. Pius, and it is Maddie and Jason doing the matchups at Duluth in AAA, Coney County, Jefferson, and Islands and East Hall. So that is the rundown for all the activity today. Once again, it's on NFHS Network, and I wanted to let you know that after yesterday, we finally do know what that final is, because remember, Brooks County had graduation when the match was originally scheduled with GMC on Friday. So they pushed it back to Monday, and we now have our answers for Class A Division II. Metter beat Atkinson County, by the way, by the score of 3-1. So that means that Metter moves on, and they're going to take on GMC. GMC beat Brooks by the final of 6-1 in Milledgeville. Top-ranked GMC boys will try and catch up with Coach Jeanette before the end of the week, and we'll try and catch up with Coach Jones, who won Metter in Pearson against Atco 3-1. So Metter and GMC is your final in Class A D2 boys. That one's Friday at 6:30. Like I said, Luke Wentzel and I will have the call on that one. We have Class A D1 and Class A D2, and so for us, it'll be a great opportunity here coming up in a sec to catch up with the coaches from Thomasville as they are in the Class A D1 finals on the girls' side Thursday at 4. And then it is Thursday at 6:30. So Thomasville back-to-back taking on Model and Armuchee Thursday at Upson Lee. So Thomasville is going to be invading Thomasville and Thomaston. I can guarantee you at some point in this matchup, my tongue is going to get twisted, and I will sit there and I will probably mention that the Bulldogs from Thomaston, even though they're in Thomaston, they're from Thomasville. So Thomasville, it is the Bulldogs taking on Model on the girls' side and taking on Armuchee on the boys' side. So we're going to catch up with both of the Thomasville coaches coming up here in short order and making sure that we get all the intel that we need when it comes to these particular matchups and find out what it's going to be like to make it to the last game of the year. So that is that's the big element in all of this, is that it is going to be a unified final on one of the sidelines here for Class A Division I as Thomasville makes their way in. And we'll see what it looks like here in just a little bit. So running through the matchups as we have them. Once again, we talked about today, and we know what today is going to be. So tomorrow it is going to be, once again, 5A girls is going to be in Duluth. Chamblee and Greenbrier, we caught up with Rob Husted noon yesterday on Red Clay Monday. So if you missed that interview, you can go back and watch it or listen to it at any time. Chamblee knocked off Roswell by the score of 2-1. So Chamblee, ranked number 7, is going to take on number 6 Greenbrier in the Class 5A girls final. That one, once again, is in Duluth. Maddie and Jason on the call for that one, batting leadoff on Wednesday. It is Nick and Justin again. They're doing AA. Pike County and Justin Osteen, ranked number 1, taking on Coahulla Creek, ranked number 3, and Shannon Coley. We had Shannon Coley on the morning show. If you missed that interview, you can pick that one up there. The order was in the final 45 minutes. It was Coach Hellier at 10:30, Shannon Coley about 10:45, Coach Archer a little after 11. So those are That's the interview rundown for those. Pike County, we caught up with Coach Osteen last week, trying to effort another 9:05 interview with him coming out of the blocks. But Pike County and Columbus, girls final, AA, Wednesday at 5 o'clock at St. Pius. Nick and Justin on that one. Johns Creek and River Ridge. I don't think you really need to say a whole lot more than that. Johns Creek and River Ridge is going to be the final in the 5A boys. That's a nightcap in Duluth. Maddie and Jason will have the call for that one on the NFHS network. And we're going to, like I said, catching up with Kelly Bowler on tape, trying to catch up with Philip Thomas away from the firewalls at River Ridge so we can catch up with him and have his interview laid out for you. Wednesday night, 7:30, it is Savannah Arts Academy after knocking off Columbus, top-ranked Columbus in the power rankings. We're going to catch up with Coach Parker here this afternoon, play that tomorrow in Red Clay. Pierce County and Pierce County knocking off Pike. So it is Savannah Arts and Pike County. AA boys, that one is at St. Pius, and that one is Nick and Justin. Thursday at 4, this is when Luke Winstill and I dive into it. From Upson Lee, Thomasville and Model, 4 o'clock on Thursday, Class A Division I girls. From Thursday at 5 o'clock at Duluth, Maddie and Jason, 6A girls, another heavyweight battle, West Forsyth and Walton. Tomorrow on Red Clay at noon, we're going to have Jason Galt, the head coach of West Forsyth. 12:30, we're going to have Jason Page, the head coach of Walton. They're going to be joining us tomorrow on Red Clay at 12 and 12:30 as a part of the programming there. That is, once again, Maddie and Jason, 6A girls from Duluth. That one is going to be at 5 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. 6:30, the nightcaps, and I'll say 6:30-ish. Thomasville and Armuchee Class A D1 boys after Thomasville knocked off Model and Armuchee knocked off Barrow. That one's 6:30-ish from Upson Lee. Luke and I will have the call for that one. 7:30-ish in 6A on Thursday. It's going to be Meadow Creek and Walton. Great run for Meadow Creek and the Mustangs so far this year taking on Walton. So we'll find out if Meadow Creek can win the last game of the year. Maddie and Jason on the call for that one from Duluth at 7:30 Thursday. Friday, Class A D2 girls. Irwin County makes their way in. We caught up with Rob Brunell, the head coach at Irwin County. They're taking on Tryon at 4 o'clock. Quad A girls, and this one is in Duluth. It's going to be BT and Marist at 5. 6:30, it's going to be Metter and GMC on the boys' side. 7:30 in Duluth, it's going to be Dalton Midtown for the last championship of the grid. All right, time to start catching up with folks in Thomasville and find out what's going on as they're getting ready for championships and then championships, which means ladies first. We believe in chivalry here. It's time to catch up with Lucas Kimmel. Coach, good to see you again. Thanks for coming in. I promise to pick you up for your entire lunch break this time. When you look back at the match, I want to walk forward here. So when you look at the matchup that got you to the last game of the year, what sticks in your mind? What lessons are going to be there for you from the win against Lamar County that got you into the championship game against Model?
Just how high of an intense game we played, and it didn't fall off one bit. It's going to be possibly at least an 80-minute up to possibly a 100-minute game. So, and they just have to be ready to go that entire 100 minutes, even if that's the case.
How far back in the Wayback Machine have you gone, or are you going to get ready for Model, who is a traditional deep playoff team, perennial power? How far back into the Wayback Machine are you going to go to learn about Model?
As far back as last season. They were actually the team that we lost to in the third round last year. And knowing that they were the team that won it, I've done my research. I've been watching film, watched previous film from last year as well, just seeing what adjustments they make, what players they have, and how we have to adjust to them to be able to pull it out.
You don't have to give away any state secrets unless you really want to. But when you're looking at Model, and like I said, you can answer this however you wish. This is just me being an investigative guy. When you look at Model, how different are they? And this might even be yes or no at this point. How different is Model from 25 to 26?
From what I've seen, very similar.
Okay.
I know that they didn't graduate many last year. I know they had a roster full of juniors, or at least a starting lineup full of juniors last year, and it's a lot of those same girls this year. Um, from what I've seen, again, a couple key players that we're preparing for all around the field, and then we'll adjust how we need to.
Is it, I like to ask coaches in these situations, are you focusing more on you? Are you looking at them? Are you doing both? And it sounds like that you are taking this matchup, you're looking at both sides of this. You know, by looking at the old film, you know what Model's bringing to the table, and then you know what you're bringing to the table to adjust in this. Is that fair to say that you're looking at both? Because some folks will just sit there in a situation and go, look, we know they're good. We've seen some stuff. We're just going to focus on us. What kind of a coach are you? Are you covering both sides here? Are you focusing on you with just a little knowledge? How are you wired here?
We're going a little bit of both. So we know our strengths and weaknesses at this point. We know that we have to come in again with that high intense, that all out 100% for the entire game, and that it can't fall off. We can't fall asleep. We can't make those simple mistakes that may cost us one of those cheap goals. And then in addition, we're preparing for how we've seen them play, and who seems to be some of their key players.
So then in this matchup, it's the same question that I wrapped up with you last time. It was like, okay, so what are you the most confident about going into this one? And what still concerns you about this one when it comes to this being the last game of the year?
I'm confident it's going to be a high quality match. It's going to be an all out battle. I mean, it's the state championship. And again, it's this team we've seen before. So we know it's going to be a very competitive game. As far as concerns, I know the girls are going to work hard. I think it just comes down to capitalizing on their mistakes and minimizing ours.
When you're in an environment like this, and obviously Coach Peterson's going to join us when his lunch period kicks in, what has it been like on campus knowing that both programs are chasing championships and it's going to be back-to-back matches in Thomaston to get those championship belts at the end of it all? What has the vibe been like knowing that this is an entire program that's playing for championships and not just one side or the other?
The support is district wide, Thomasville wide, surrounding counties wide. I mean, we're getting congratulations and good looks left and right, going down the halls, everything. We will surely have a large crowd there to support us for both games. And I mean, the girls, I can speak for the girls. We're gonna absolutely stay and support the boys right after.
Are the folks at the corner of the Boulevard and Georgia 300 and Thomasville Road, are they sending word over your way as well? Or are they just as happy for you?
Knowing some of those coaches personally, I mean, we've yes, the crosstown rivalry is all that, but these kids again, they play together all the time, whether it's a school ball, whether it's club, or even, for example, we do our own little local 229 all-star game, which all of these kids are selected to play in, and they all play together in these games or in these clubs. They're used to seeing each other, and they're outside of school ball on the field. It's friendly and it's positive.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was able to use the Y and the J words here in this particular segment, but you mentioned it, and let me go ahead and ask your thoughts on this. What has it been like to see the programs, and I mean yours and the Crosstown Rivals programs? What's it been like to see them both grow and elevate and continue to evolve? What's it been like for you to see that growth there in Thomasville?
It's been a very positive experience. It's a lot better that to see soccer as a sport growing more in South Georgia, which it gets overlooked a lot of times, especially in our areas when it comes to colleges and recruiting, or even players looking to go to college to play and all of this. But it's definitely expanding and growing as it continues to get more popular, and our areas continue to have that kind of success.
When it comes to heading up to Thomaston on Thursday, do you get out early? What's the rundown and the itinerary? Or are you trying to keep it as normal as possible? Are there any adjustments? What are you looking at?
We're going to try to keep it as normal as possible. We're going to get out early. School's going to do our own little send off, our good luck, going down the halls, showing the support, and then we'll make a few stops along the way to stretch our legs, get some lunch, early lunch, and just again in preparation for that.
Good deal. It is time for the hot tag. As coach, see, I can see into the green room. It's like I was about ready to bring in Coach Peterson, and I saw he ducked out real quick, and I'm like, okay, I have to filibuster. Can you tell the lighting in the room that you're still in there, Coach? It's like you're you're still there. It's okay. Coach Peterson is now in. Lucas, as always, is great to see you. Thanks for coming by on your lunch hour. The rest of your lunch hour is yours, and just be safe. And Luke and I are looking forward to calling your match and Coach Peterson's match. But Lucas, we'll see you soon, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, there's the tag out. So Lucas is done. Time to catch up with Coach Peterson. How's it going, Coach?
Good. Just busy trying to keep up with all the, my phone's binging at me right now. I'm supposed to be on Do Not Disturb, but it didn't work.
I was going to say, that is not me hitting you up on the phone at the moment. Do you and Lucas compare notes on a week like this? Are you guys in constant conversation, knowing that it's going to be the entire program that's chasing after a championship? Do you have any kind of interaction during the week at all?
Well, we talk all the time. I mean, it's all kinds of things. It's a lot less soccer related and a lot more program related in terms of just organizing buses, organizing when we're leaving. He hits me up for, hey, what do you think about this idea and that kind of stuff. And but yeah, it's a lot of back and forth and a lot of, hey, here's what I'm thinking, and we kind of just hash it out together.
So is the itinerary is locked in place, at least as well as it can be, for everybody heading north? The entire western half of the county heading north? Is that how this works?
Yeah, well, there's still details we worked out on our end in terms of exactly, when we're going to be in certain places. But yeah, there's fan buses are organized, knowing when we're leaving and knowing when we're going to have to show up, and trying to make sure we have our stops worked out for the teams. But, it's a quick turnaround. Last year, I think we actually had one day. I think we qualified on like a Thursday or Friday, and the game was on Tuesday.
Wow.
And I remember Monday was just
magic. Interruption. I need Makai Jones, Jayshawn Baker, Shalonda Dixon, Elijah Ivy, and Jordan Diggs to come to the front office, please. Again, Makai Jones, Jayshawn Baker, Shalonda Dixon, Elijah Ivy, and Jordan Diggs come to the front office.
There you go.
That's a lot of folks going to the front office.
Yeah, we're in the middle of testing and makeup testing, and everybody's having to be everywhere. It's a pretty crazy time of year.
How do you, in a week like this, keep your sanity? Because you don't play until Thursday. Everybody knows that you're playing for a championship after what happened, and I do want to ask about the model game here in a bit. But how do you keep your sanity, and how do you keep the players locked in on the task at hand, considering all of this stuff that's going on around them this week?
I think you try to block out the noise. I know behind the scenes, the players don't see how much work it goes into just the organizing, the phone calls. I've got parents trying to organize, goodie bags, trying to organize buses, trying to organize. It's just a lot of moving parts, and everybody's just doing their job. And for the players, it's focus on the next game. I mean, that's the only way to get here, is not thinking about winning, just thinking about what do I got to do to perform well, and how do I handle the mental side, the emotional side. And so as long as everybody's focusing on their job, and, it's more of management on my end. It's just making sure that, all the boxes are checked and things are getting taken care of. And if I can't get to it, making sure somebody else can help me out. Hey, I need you to cover this for me. It'd be great. And just organizing. It's a lot of work so that hopefully what we're doing is creating memories that these boys are going to remember the rest of their lives. I know they still talk about the game last year. And so just making sure it's a good experience, win or lose, it's really important that we have it organized and they just remember and can enjoy it.
When you look back at the model semifinal, what sticks in your mind that you can bring forward to this matchup against Armuchee?
Don't ever give up. Listen, model was unbelievable. They have so much talent. We feel very fortunate to have beat them because they were a very, very good team. And, the boys just didn't stop. I know we wear those GPS trackers. I've got boys ran over 10 miles in that game,
Wow.
which is unreal. It's a record since I've had them, and I've had them for 6 or 7 years. So, and I think another 5 or 6 that ran over 9 miles. And that's an intense 9 miles. That's not just a slow jog. So, the discussion we talked about is that's just heart and desire and just wanting to win a game. So credit to them for just never giving up and continuing to work defensively and doing what they had to do to just stay in the game long enough to, get the PKs. And then PKs is, it's always a coin flip. My keeper had an amazing PK shootout, saved 3 of the 5 penalties. I mean, you can't ask for more.
When you are setting up your shooters in a PK situation, do you have a set idea in mind of, because I've talked to coaches this week and they'll be like, I want my heavyweights, I want my lockdown individuals at 1 and 2. I have my heavyweight individuals at 1, 4, and 5 because in the middle sometimes it can go a little haywire. I've got my heavyweights at 4 and 5 because I want them to be my money guys late. Do you have a philosophy, or is it pretty much just, okay, go by feel, look folks in the eye and go, okay, who wants it, and then have them sorted out?
That's it. Look them in the eye. Several kids, you could see it. You ask, I don't want it, and I can see it in their eyes. So I changed the lineup, changed the numbers. Retrospectively, we actually missed numbers 4 and 5. We were up 3-1. I had to make one of the next 2, and keeper made an unbelievable save on number 4. And then number 5 was a decent PK, and he made another save. So you look at it, you go, I should have maybe switched those 2 or whatever. But no, you can't overthink it. You're really just looking for the kid that you could tell in their eyes they've got the confidence, and it's not a bigger moment than they can handle. And you do the best you can. I've lost many games of PK, so it doesn't really matter who you choose. It really is a very difficult thing. And I've had some of my best PK takers, miss the PK, just miss the whole frame. And you go, I've never seen them do that. But in the moment and under pressure, it's not easy. It's not easy. And so just being able to calm your nerves and picking the right person who can do that, you try your best. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't.
So then when do you start thinking about 6 and 7? Is it like, 5 happens and then you got to start thinking 6 and 7? How do you do that?
After number 4.
Okay.
You wait till 4 and then you start thinking about 6, and then you wait till, 5 takes it and maybe you think about number 7, and you just, everybody seems like every ref kind of does it differently, where after 5, they just need 1 at a time. Some want the next 5 in order already ready to go. So you don't really have to pick them depending on the ref. Everybody seems to not really follow a standard protocol, unfortunately.
When you're going north of 80 minutes, what is the conversation like? I guess, what was the conversation like last time? You've made it through 80 minutes. You're going to be playing a little more. PKs might be down the line. What are you talking to them about after 80 minutes, just so they can be prepared for what could be coming up?
You just think about the next 10 minutes. I mean, you have 10-minute half and you get to talk to them again. So you go over any, point somebody individually and, hey, at this is what we're, looking, and then just continue to fight. I mean, they got there after 80 minutes and just fighting hard, and we're trying to do the same thing. And, you just don't know how it's going to go. I know we scored in the second overtime first. We were up 1-0 or 2-1. And, I had my midfielder just went on a glory run. I think he dribbled through about 5 guys and decided to poke it in, and you're in shock and you're trying to hold on, and then they did really, really well on a throw. Guy jumped up and just out jumped everybody, flicks it on and hits the post, and their guy's there to finish it. And you feel like you did everything right. It's still not enough, and so you can't plan for everything. You just got to plan for the boys to be able to adjust and be able to not panic and be able to keep their nerves. And that's so hard as young men to handle that kind of pressure. And this group of boys is special because they've been able to handle that pressure really, really well. And not get too high, too low, and just have that innate desire to win games, and the ones that are important. I mean, we've lost quite a few games this year, but they haven't taken it hard. It's just, we want to win, but those games don't matter. We want to win region. We're able to win region. And that was our number one goal. And then from there, it's like, let's see what seed we get, and let's just try to win one game at a time. And they've done that. And so to their credit and their maturity, they just keep figuring out how to win games.
When you're looking at Armuchee, how far back into the Wayback Machine do you go when you're trying to scout something like this?
You try to see as much as you can, but you try to put it in perspective. Like I've gone back and took a quick look at the game last year. I mean, it doesn't hurt just to have a look, just to have a remember of what we did, what they did, and then you go forward from there and just try to come up with a game plan. And then, the hardest part is getting the players to execute a game plan. Again, you're dealing with teenage boys that sometimes they're spot on and sometimes they just have a mind of their own, and you're trying to figure out what you guys even practice because they don't even execute a game plan at all. So you just try to handle them the best you can, that they will have a focus and this is what we're going to do. And if it doesn't work, that you got to adjust pretty quick. I mean, it's a must win, one-off game that hopefully bounces our way this time.
What are you the most confident about, and what concerns you still?
I mean, I'm the most confident in my guys. I think they're going to come out with the right mindset, the right work rate. And I mean, what worries me is they're a very good team. I mean, we're going to try our best to slow down their attack and, be able to approach their defense the best way we can on attack. But, you worry it doesn't go well at, early cards or a PK or anything you can't really stop in terms of planning for. So, that worries me, that the ball just doesn't bounce your way. I felt very confident last year. We played a good game, and it just wasn't our day. I don't feel bad about the game plan. The kids were fantastic. They worked so hard, and, I think they hit one post and it went in. I mean, 2 inches to the right, and they hit the post and it goes out. And what do you do? I mean, it is what it is, and you got to move on and accept it. And so those things are hard to deal with sometimes because it is a game of inches and it is a very tight margin, and it's a very good team. So I'm hoping we just have a little more luck on our side this year.
And we will be there for it. Luke Winstall and I cannot wait to call the Thomasville matches and see the entire red section of Thomasville work its way up to Thomaston. And I've already warned folks that I'm going to get that tongue-tied at some point during the broadcast on Thursday. But cannot wait to see all of you. It's been great to hang out, and thanks for doing this, especially in the MD minuses as we get closer to match day. Thanks for hanging out with us here on MD-2. Go get some lunch.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate the coverage and looking forward to it.
All right, there goes Robert Peterson, the head coach of the boys' side for Thomasville. He's the back end of the doubleheader. And it is Thomasville and Armuchee, and they are going to be Thursday, 6:30-ish. I use the word ish because you never know how long the previous matchup will go, involving Lucas Kimmel and the girls' side. And knowing, and Thomasville and Model, that's going to be a heavyweight battle, and Thomasville and Armuchee is going to be a heavyweight battle in Class A D1. If you're anywhere near, and this is what I've always said, if you're anywhere near a match site, if you are anywhere near Duluth, if you are anywhere near Pius, if you are anywhere near Upson Lee and Thomaston, go. I might be able to put something on letterhead to give you a letter for your boss. Please excuse so-and-so. They've gone to go see the GHSA soccer championships. And then they'll look at the note and go, well, what is that? It's a get out of work free, so you can go watch the championships. Even if your team isn't there, go invest some time and see how the sport is continuing to grow here in the state of Georgia, and watch the championships at one of the 3 sites, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That is my PSA to you. That is the more you know. And then the comet goes across the sky with the star. The more you know. Grow the game. Go see a team that you haven't seen before. Share your knowledge with somebody else, because you're going to have some fantastic matchups across the board. Thursday at 4, Thursday at 6:30 in Thomaston, Class A D1, Thomasville and Model, Thomasville and Armuchee, Thomasville v. everyone in Class A Division 1 on the girls and boys sides here. NFHS Network, Luke Winstall and I on the call. And it was great to always catch up with Coach Kimmel and Coach Peterson and find out what is going on with them as they're getting ready for matchup last year in 2026. Okay, through the magic of video recording, after practice yesterday, we caught up with Coach Zimmerman and Alec Zimmerman at East Hall and found out what's going on in his brain as he's getting ready to travel from East Hall down to Duluth for this matchup where Islands is coming up I-16. Hopefully they're in Macon by now. And then making their way north and heading to Duluth for the nightcap tonight with Maddie and Jason on the call in that matchup. So here is our conversation with head coach Alec Zimmerman from the highest point he could find on the campus of East Hall High School as they're getting ready for the last game of the year against Islands. Where did all of this offense come from for you?
I think like we've always had it, we just kind of found a new level, feeling good, got an early goal, realized, hey, we can keep going after it, get more.
When you look back at and literally, if I had told you would have gotten 6 on the board in the road in Dexter against West Lawrence after what we talked about last week, what would you have told me then?
I'd snap your hand off for it. I'm like, yeah, I think we're probably advancing to the final in that case. So I'm glad that's the case.
What's the vibe been like now that you are advancing to this final up against a very, very tough Islands team?
I think the guys are excited, but they're also dialed in because they know, our assistant coaches, we've got one of them that was part of the 2016 team that made it to the final and lost, and another one that was in the 2020 made it to the final and lost. So I think they're trying to make sure that they're as focused, doing everything possible to be that first team to win the state title for East Hall.
Are they discussing those last 2 matches and conversations with the players and everything, or is that just kind of there internally for them and like a more of a motivational thing internally?
I think we are actually going to look back at those games from the past and think, obviously the players, the tactics, all that's changed, but some of the mental things, like how do we approach the game? What's our attitude? What's our mindset? All of that. Those are things that can still apply. So, I'm going to ask my coaches like, hey, what's the number one thing that like you didn't expect about the final? And then what's the number one thing that you wish you would have done differently? And we'll have that conversation tomorrow afternoon while we're prepping for the game.
Which assistant coach was attached to which game?
So my assistant, Brian Galvez, he was part of the 2016 team. I believe they played Decatur. He was a senior that year, so he was on the field, got significant minutes. He can give him that kind of like firsthand perspective. My assistant, Oscar Barcenas, he was part of the 2021 team, but he was a freshman at that point. So I don't know how much maybe on-field perspective he has from that moment, but he can certainly talk about what was the vibe in the locker room, what was the team mindset, how did they approach that, all those things.
Well, and at the same time, I think that Oscar can also give the underclassmen his perspective on, okay, hey, you freshmen, sophomores, this is what it was like for me as a freshman in this kind of situation. Here's what I learned, and now I can tell you, here's what you're going to be learning in real time in this matchup.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm just handing.
Yeah,
It's like,
you said it all. Yeah.
Here's your notes for Oscar.
Yeah.
How much studying, how much cramming, let me rephrase, how much cramming have you done on Islands ever since you got back from Dexter?
I'll tell you, we were actually watching film on Islands on the bus over to Dexter. So we were just preparing just in case. We knew we had some stuff on Jefferson if they had made it. But over the weekend, I watched 3 of Islands games, made my scouting report like I usually do, sent that off to the guys this afternoon. So they've got, I think, as much detail as they can fit in their brains at this point on what to expect.
Was it 6 or 7 pages?
It was 10.
Wow.
It was a 10-page report.
Wow.
And I go through, I make like, here's what we need to do to be successful. Here's how they line up. Here's any notes about their players. Here's games that I've watched and how the goals were scored.
Is it a PDF? Is it a research paper? I mean, what is this thing looking like when you're done?
Yeah. So there's a lot more bullet points. It's not like a 4,000 word essay.
Okay.
But like we got a graphic on like, okay, here's what the formation looks like. Number 10 is here and number 7's here. And so they have like a visual representation of like, if this was FIFA, what would it look like? So yeah, a lot of bullet points, a lot of things to try and make it digestible, split it up into different sections so that they know. And not all of it's going to be relevant, but just, they have as much information as we can possibly give them. So once they get on the field, there shouldn't be any surprises.
When you're piecing this together, do you have a baseline of, okay, I know I want to include A, B, C, D, and E, and then in this case, since it's the last game of the year, were you adding separate and discovering new things, or what was the layout here?
Yeah, I think it was like the basic outline, but I'm always, if I get any opinions from coaches, then I'm happy to put those in there. And usually I only talk to one or two coaches before a game, if I even get to talk to anybody. But with it being the final, yeah, I'm asking around a lot more. Hey, did you play them? What was your experience like? And sometimes coaches will send like 2 sentences, like this is what I had. And sometimes you'll get like 2 paragraphs, like, MLA format, like they do this, 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 and this. The referees did this, this, and this, and I was mad at this point and this point. So not all of it's always the most helpful, but it's certainly, again, any information that I can take, it's good information, especially because, like we played Jenkins, but that's only one South Georgia team. Like we don't know what every other South Georgia team looks like.
Right. When you've assimilated all of this information, you have taken the 10 pages and osmosed it appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
What are you the most confident about going into this matchup against Islands, and what concerns you still going into this matchup?
I'm pretty confident in our ability to withstand pressure and adversity, because we've talked about, that from the very beginning of the year. Like we've had moments where we've been behind in games or where we've been behind by a lot, right? So we've seen a lot of different game scenarios, game states, and found ways to recover, to work our mentality through. So yeah, it's going to be high pressure. There's going to be a lot of fans. It's going to be loud. It's going to be noisy, all that kind of stuff. But we know how to play our system, even given those circumstances. So I think our ability to stick to our game plan, play the way that we want to play, we're going to be really good at that. My biggest concern, I think, has to be the Islands defense, right? You look through every game that they've played so far in the playoffs, they've not conceded a goal yet. Only penalties versus Jefferson. So we're going to have to do some work to unlock that defense. Hopefully the 6 goals against West Lawrence shows that we're hitting that attacking form at the right time. But yeah, absolutely. They've got a quality back line, and we're going to have to work hard to try and expose it.
Well, and you, through this run in the postseason, you've knocked off Johnson Gainesville and Oconee County back-to-back, and then you go on the road to knock off West Lawrence. Do you give yourself any grace of space to sit there and go and qualifying it by going, so far, hey, we've really accomplished a lot, obviously knowing the end game, but have you given yourself any grace and space to sit there and go, man, we've really knocked off some heavy hitters here?
Yeah, I think we have to, right? Like we going into the postseason, looked at the bracket, and we're like, man, we've got a difficult corner to try and work our way out of. So I think we know, had we ended up at a different seating, maybe the path wouldn't look the same, but we only can beat who's in front of us. And I think by having to play Oconee County, by playing Johnson, and by playing other teams throughout the regular season, we've been well prepared for this game.
When you're setting up PKs, and I forgot to ask you this after the Johnson match, how do you line up and how do you administer PKs and how do you think it through? We've had coaches on that sit there and they'll go, I want my heavy hitters 1-2. I want my heavy hitters 1-4-5. I want them in the middle in case the first guy misses. When you're lining up who you're looking for, how do you determine your order? And are you looking in their eyes to see level of confidence as an added element of this? Or when you look at PKs, how do you address it?
So when I look at PKs, I'm looking for who is confident and who can take one. I really leave the order up to the guys. But my main thing is if I look you in the eyes and I'm like, are you taking one? And they can look at me 100% and be like, yes, I will take one. Perfect. That's all I need. Everything else, I leave it up to them.
How long did it take you to just pull the reins back and just sit there and go, all right, here are the keys to the car. It's all yours. Have you always been that way to sit there and it's like, I can only get you so far. I'll get you onto the field. You guys can sort out the problems in the time that you're out there, and I can help. How long did it take you to surrender the keys to the car in a situation like that?
I think just my temperament, it actually didn't take me too long for it, because I remember being a player and thinking about how much information can a coach communicate to me in like the split seconds that he has my attention. It's probably not a lot. So we try and prepare them as much as possible. Am I good?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah. So I try and prepare them as much as possible beforehand so that they have those solutions like in advance and know what to do. And then that way my in-game notes are just to like remind them like, hey, like we got to push up, or like just tweaks in like maybe, I don't know, we're defending a corner and I want a guy like 5 yards over, but nothing like, usually nothing too crazy.
Okay.
It's just these guys, they're high schoolers, right? Limited attention span. You know, you're trying to focus on the game. How much information can a coach get through to you?
And what is the support going to be like going from East Hall down to Duluth? What's it going to be like? You got any gauge yet?
I mean, I'm sure that we're going to get a ton. I wish I could give you a number, but Johnson turnout is anything to go by.
I will take a ton. I will take a ton, because I mean,
I think it's going to
be a loud crowd on your end, and I know that a lot of folks are going to come up from the coast for this one.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be a fun challenge with the two of you, with Justin and you. Safe travels, great practices. You got your itinerary figured out? You know when you're leaving and everything?
Yeah, just about. The guys really wanted to go through and do like a walkthrough and go visit all the local elementary schools, the middle school. So we got that going on in the morning, just to say hey to teachers, siblings, all that good stuff. And then come afternoon, like get lunch and start prepping.
Did you get the subway issue figured out?
Yeah, this time Chipotle worked. They can make better choices. So yeah, we'll see.
Oh, we can't wait for it. Maddie and Jason will be on the call for the nightcap there at Duluth. Alec, it's been great catching up with you. Just be safe, enjoy Chipotle, and get there to Duluth and have a great one going up against Islands. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. No dilly, no dally zone, because from the road, believe it or not, he's on the road. So, Justin, where are you, sir? Are you still on I-16?
No, man. We just went through. Actually, we're going through Henry County right now.
Oh no, you're in that batch of humanity.
Yeah, we'll probably hit that traffic. It's kind of why we left and moved, but you know that's another story for another day. But yeah, man, we're moving good right now. No traffic at all right now.
Okay. So how was the stop? Did you stop in Dublin like you anticipated for lunch?
No Buc-ee's this time. I had to make sure that we toned in on the diet a little bit. It's not a trip for pleasure this time. It's more of a business trip mantra. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be hopefully for on the ride back. But
okay. Just checking. Like I said, I love that you are checking in on the progress report. I'm glad that you made it to Henry County, and cannot wait for you to be up there with Maddie and Jason for the big matchup. I'm just glad that you've been gracious enough to let us follow you along here on the bus.
yeah, man.
Be safe. Just be safe getting through there. I know that Henry County lets you go about 3 feet an hour, especially at that Eagles Landing Parkway exit, which can be its own pain in the butt. And look, just get there safe. Enjoy the rest of the business trip. I'm just glad that you were able to catch up with us, and just enjoy lunch, enjoy the road, and we'll see you up there in Duluth tonight.
Appreciate it, man. Good to see you, and hope to see you tonight, John.
You've got it. Justin Brantley from the road. That's tremendous. Justin joins us from the road not once but twice. Joins us when they hop in on the morning show, when they hopped in at exit 95 on I-16. Now he's stuck in Henry County. He's stuck in Henry County talking about everything that Henry County is known for, which mainly these days is traffic. Okay. So once again, here's the rundown for the shows for today. And thanks to Coach Kimmel and Coach Peterson for dropping by and letting us know what is the update with them. So today, here is your rundown. 5 o'clock, Oconee County and Jefferson, Maddie and Jason on the call, and AAA girls, NFHS Network. Once again, that one's in Duluth. If you can get there, go. 5 o'clock, St. Pius, Nicolefe, Justin Hanover on the call. Holy Innocents and Wesleyan. We caught up with Coach Schmidt yesterday. We caught up with Wesleyan head coach Glenn Archer. Caught up with him this morning at the tail end of the morning show. 5 o'clock, St. Pius. If you're near, go. Nightcap, 7:30. 6.5 hours away from kick. They should be okay. Islands on the road. Traveling to Duluth to take on East Hall. Thanks to Coach Zimmerman. Thanks to Coach Brantley for being great sports about all of this stuff. If you're there, if you're close, go. Leave now because traffic up 316 is going to be a bear to get to Duluth. Islands and East Hall, once again, 7:30-ish. NFHS Network, Maddie and Jason, go. Private, boys, tonight, St. Pius. Nicolefe, Justin Hanover, 7:30-ish. Whitfield Academy, caught up with Coach Hellier this morning on the morning show at about 10:30. Caught up with Chad Griffin yesterday at 12:30 in the Red Clay Monday. So those interviews are out there. If you're near St. Pius, Tuesday at 7:30, go. That's your matchups for today. Tomorrow, it is 5A girls, AA girls, 5A boys, AA boys. So we're wrapping up conversations in the 2 o'clock hour on tape. We'll have those for you tomorrow, and we will have the breakdowns there. But once again, 4 champions decided today, AAA, private, NFHS Network, Maddie and Jason, Nicolefe, Justin Hanover. Enjoy the games. Go back and listen to all the interviews. Thanks to Thomasville. Thanks to Thomasville. Thanks to East Hall. Thanks to Islands. Enjoy the championships, day 1 of 4. And we kind of blocked out the 9 o'clock hour tomorrow morning for a reason. If anyone is still in a hotel room and are celebrating or they're back home with a trophy, we want them to come on. So that's your rundown. Red Clay Tuesday, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Red Clay, Permanente, right there. Thanks to all the schools that have been hanging out with us all morning and all afternoon. We're going to be talking to more this afternoon. Mucha Platiel, play it safe. Since it is the end of Red Clay Tuesday, that means we get to do this. Go enjoy games. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.